blessings, and welcome to the Path to Freedom. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in, for joining me in this beautiful moment of expanding our consciousness and lifting our vibration. This beautiful moment of allowing for more love and peace and joy and harmony and abundance and wholeness to emerge from within us. In a moment of coming into the realization that none of these beautiful divine qualities are ever outside of us, that we cannot ever get them from the world, but that they always are inherently within us. They are the truth and the essence of who and what we are, being that we are one with the one mind, the one power, spirit, God, the universe, the higher power, or whatever we want to call it. We're one with it, and it's that loving presence is all of these beautiful qualities. As we're one with it, it must mean, and it does mean, that they are right where we are. So that's what this beautiful, magnificent path is all about. Us becoming more open and available for these to be revealed in us and through us. So today, the topic for today is thank you, and yes, it is true. Thank you, and yes, it is true. And this is, I was watching a woman speak the other day, a woman named, a beautiful being named Reverend Kim Stanwood Terranova. And she was speaking about actually gratitude and Thanksgiving. And there was, at one particular moment, she shared a beautiful practice. And honestly, I have not leaned into this practice yet. But the moment I heard her speak about it, I just knew and felt that this is something that I want to incorporate into my life. This is something that I want to put in my toolbox, as it allows for expansion. And so what she was sharing was that she was invited. She was in a group of people. She was in a meeting, and in this meeting was Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, and he invited this group to, as a practice, when people say that, oh, you've got such lovely nails, or oh, I love your clothes, or oh, good job, you're magnificent, such excellence radiated from you, or you're so peaceful, or whatever the case may be. All these things, all these compliments that people give us. And oftentimes, when we're being given a compliment, we may say thank you, or if we are perhaps experiencing a lower sense of self-love, a sense of not being enough, we may even shrug it off and pretend as though we didn't hear it. Or we'll say something like, that was nothing. And so Reverend Michael, he invited this group of people to actually own up to this as an affirmation. So if someone says, and actually I did try it last night. I was in a group of meeting, or in a meeting with a group of people, and someone said to me that it was such a joy to be in the same space as me. There was such luminosity and peace and love exuding from my being. And having just heard Reverend Kim Stanwood Terranova share this practice, I leaned into it, and I looked this individual straight in the eyes, and I said, thank you, and yes, it is true. And it actually felt good to say it. It actually felt good to say it. But what it does, and the deeper, so all these tools that we have they serve a purpose. We're not leaning into meditation just for feeling good about it. We're not just leaning into prayer because it makes us feel good. But all of these tools that we have, affirmations and all of them, they serve a higher purpose. And the purpose that they serve is for us to expand our consciousness, as we talked about in the beginning, as I introduced this particular talk, to expand our consciousness, to raise our vibration, to allow for more peace and love and joy and harmony to come into our lives. So many of us humans, we move through life with a sense of not being enough and not having enough. But in particular, and especially relating to this conversation that we're having today, we move through life with a sense of not being enough. And so when another individual gives us a compliment, as we are not in complete vibrational alignment, perhaps, with this compliment, with their feedback, with their experience of us, with their assessment of us, we might feel a little awkward or embarrassed. We're not quite owning that quality that they are attributing to us. We're perhaps not comfortable with being called generous or handsome or radiant or joyous. So we perhaps kind of don't know what to do with it because we are not feeling it. We're not feeling it. So the invitation here is to own that, to receive. That is a gift that we're being given. If someone says something nice to us, that is a gift. That is a loving gift. And why not receive it? And why not make the fullest use of it? Imagine receiving a Christmas gift, and let's say that we are being given a set of beautiful glasses. These are crystal glasses. We're given a whole set of them. And so we put them in the cupboard or we put them away. And if we're not using them, if we're not allowing ourselves to enjoy these glasses from time to time, we're not really receiving that gift, are we? We're receiving half of it. So the invitation, as we feel into and as we acknowledge that what the other is seeing in us is actually true. I might not see it, I might not feel it, but they see it, they feel it in us. So why not acknowledge that? Why not receive that gift full out? Why not? Why not say, thank you, yes, it is true. I don't have to feel that it is true. I don't have to see that it is true. I don't have to know that it is true. But they know, they see, they feel. And eventually, as we begin to receive these beautiful gifts that people are giving us, these loving gifts that people are handing us, as we begin to openly and open-handedly and open-heartedly receive them, they will begin to move us. They will begin to work on us. As we are beginning to open ourselves up to the possibility that perhaps this individual is seeing something that I don't see. And perhaps the fact that I don't see it does not necessarily mean that it is not there. So we begin to open ourselves up to the possibility that there is something within us that others see, but that we don't. That others know and feel that we don't. And this is not about becoming arrogant. This is not about becoming cocky. This is not about becoming riding on high horses, but this is about us acknowledging, recognizing the light that we are, the love that we are, the joy that we are. All of these are intrinsic, they are inherent, they're always here. I may have covered it up with a whole bunch of stories and beliefs about myself, about me not being good enough or not being worthy of love, or whatever the case may be. But that I have bought into, or that we have bought into, a bunch of stories belittling ourselves, not giving ourselves credit, not seeing ourselves as God sees us, as God knows us, does not mean that it's not there. Just because I can't see something does not mean that it is not there. It's like that beautiful expression, and let me see if I can remember it. It goes, evidence of absence, no, the other way around. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So just because I can't see that I am love, that I am light, that I am joy, that I am peace, that I am wholeness, that I am harmony, that I am abundance, just because I can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. But by saying, with responding, thank you, and yes, it is true, we give ourselves the gift of beginning to acknowledge that perhaps it is there. And as we lean into this beautiful practice over a period of time, constantly, regularly, our perception of ourselves will begin to change. Now, I'm not experiencing that because I just started. But I know how practice works, and I know how the mind works, and I know how attention works. What we begin to be interested in, it begins to multiply, it begins to be magnified. So when we begin to be interested in, can it be that I am lovable? Can it be that I am enough? Oh, can it be that I'm a joy bearer? That I'm luminous? When we begin to explore these, when we begin to turn our attention toward these, when we become interested in these beautiful qualities in ourselves, within ourselves, they begin to grow. They begin to expand. They begin to magnify. They begin to multiply, simply because we're turning our attention to them. I remember a long time ago, with my mother. And this is another aspect of it, but it comes up now, so why not bring it up? My mother used to buy me a lot of stuff when I was a child. And it came to a point where I got sick of it. I didn't want her money. That's not what I wanted from her. Now, that was the best that she could give at the time. But there was a period of time when I gave her the cold hand. I completely refused to accept anything from her. And then I realized, or someone helped me realize, that her buying me things, that was her way of saying I love you. She was not able to say it she was not able to use the words. She was not able to perhaps feel into it and express it with emotion and feeling. But her way of saying I love you was with making sure that as I was in college and as I was growing up and moving through spaces where I perhaps did not have all that much money, she made sure that I had mittens in the winter, that I had a nice winter jacket, that I had pants, and all that stuff. That was her way of saying I love you. And by my refusing to accept that, that's what I realized in retrospect, afterwards. By my refusing to accept her gifts. I was, in actuality, refusing her love. I was saying no to her love just because it did not come in the form and shape that I wanted it to come. So I wanted her to express love in a particular way. She was not able to express love in that particular way. She expressed love in her way, in her own way, and I said, no, thank you. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it unless it looks like this. So coming back to thank you, and yes, this is true. We are accepting the other's love. Like that individual that gave me a compliment and gave feedback on what they perceived exuding from me last night. That was their way of expressing love. That was their way of being a vessel for love. And so we're wise to accept that for ourselves as a gift in terms of where we can grow, allowing that seed that this compliment may be, allowing that seed to be planted in perhaps right now not so fertile ground, but at least be planted. At least be planted so that it can begin to shoot and root and grow and expand. And also, why refuse us a gift of love? Why deny ourselves a gift of love from another? That was, in this particular case, as of last night, this gift was given unconditionally. There was no withhold. There was no asking for anything in return. It was just unconditional love. So why not receive that? Why not accept that and say thank you? And yes, it is true. So that's the invitation for today, to lean into this gem. This gem. It's so easy. It's so, I'm not going to say that it's easy. It's so simple. Say yes, thank you, it is true. To lean into that, to put this tool, to put this practice into our toolbox so that we can begin to utilize it, so that we can begin to benefit from it as we keep moving along this beautiful path of freedom and awakening. Thank you so much for tuning in, for joining me, for participating, for listening. Until we meet again, I absolutely bless all of our days and all of our ways with much love, many blessings. Namaste.